And Ross, astrologer and kind of your best friend through all of these changes, huh? Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you click like and subscribe. And I want to give you everything you need to know about Neptune in less than 10 minutes. I know there's a lot of great astrologers out there, there's a lot of great information, but I want to really kind of condense it for you so you could kind of hear it as you go. And I know most people kind of do their own research as they listen to me. So I love the fact that I'm part of your companionship here. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and share with at least one friend. That helps the channel grow, all that other good stuff. So let's jump right to it. Neptune, in its 164-year transition, almost 165-year transition, is moving into Aries for the first time since, well, the Civil War. Go ahead and take that for whatever it's worth. The last time Neptune moved into Aries, it caused all sorts of clarity, but it also made everyone a little bit hardened and kind of sure about things like, say, slavery and freedoms. You can expect the same to happen here as Neptune moves into Aries, but I think the feel is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to explain why. We always have to talk about the relativity of where things are. Uranus was actually in Gemini at the time that that Neptune moved into Aries last time, which is why it was such a catalyst of empowerment, where there was kind of an equality of duality and that sort of thing. Right now, we're dealing with, again, Jupiter kind of moving through these transits of Gemini, where it's kind of false power, if you will. And if you think I'm not going to talk about politics, you're out of your mind. Here you go. What this actually represents with Neptune moving through Pisces, let's take a look back over the last few years. You really have kind of this anti-establishmentarianism that's gone on. Not only have you had Neptune in Pisces, which is kind of double downing on the illusion and the dream work, but then you also had Saturn kind of doing this in its last decan, the last 10 degrees of Pisces right now. And what you have is up is down and down is up. That's why it's so crazy. That's why it's so weird. But one of the other fallouts of Neptune is your dream work, because being ruled by Pisces, Neptune being in Pisces really kind of ramps that up. Well, the last decan of Pisces is actually ruled by Mars, which is kind of a different sort of way of looking at it. But it's the reason why the Ten of Cups actually represents the end of Pisces, because it's getting what you need. It's stepping up and taking what you have, right? Where in the earlier decans with, say the Eight of Cups and, where you kind of have the loss and the let go of it. And then you have the Nine of Cups, which is, abundance and sharing joy. Then you have the Ten of Cups, which really kind of steps into the idealism of, I'm going to get what I'm looking for. I'm going to make a blended family. I'm eventually going to be happy. It takes Mars and the influence of Mars in that decan to make sure that you get things to where you want it to be, to achieve your dreams. Well, politically, what's kind of gone on is you have whatever is going on in the Trump administration. They are taking that and kind of saying, like, we're going to make our dreams come true. They're like a Hall & Oates song, right? Over and over again. The fallout of this is going to be felt because Mars also rules the first decan of Aries. This is very important because you have to recognize that there's going to be actionable things about our dreams. It's also going to be the aspect and the component of what you and I believe in. This is about challenging faith. It's about challenging and understanding who we are as a person, let alone how we are as a people. And that kind of translates both in a global, being that they are generational planet transition, but we're alive during that. So, of course, it affects us on a personal level as well. Now, you have to take a look at your personal astrology. And by the way, I'm going to give you a really quick shortcut. Anything connected with Aries in your chart is going to be affected with Neptune in its transition. And by the way, it goes until 2038. So we've got a little bit of time here. We do also have a retrograde coming up for Neptune that will move it back into Pisces. It's going to be from July until October. So what's going to actually happen during that time is Neptune is going to move into this new assurance of Aries, where it's kind of like a chase after your dreams. Be sure of who you are. Rip the illusion off. It'll be the type of things where you'll say, you know what, I've always wanted to dream of something, but it's a very practical approach to it. It'll also have sincere purpose to what it is that you want to get done. In other words, You might not just write a book, you're going to write a book because you want this information in the hands of these people. You may create art, that you're like, hey, I have a political statement I want to, get across or what have you. On a personal level, you're going to find this, and you're going to find people are going to do this where there will be sincere purpose to their dreaming. There'll be sincere purpose to them ripping off the illusion. What we're experiencing so far with the Trump administration in the first, 150 days has been this delusion of correctness, a lawlessness. But that speaks to Saturn in Pisces. It's kind of like hey, we can do whatever we want because we can manipulate this to land on our feet. From everything from, well, that's not how we interpret the law, to the dog ate my homework. You're seeing a lot of missteps going on here. Neptune moving into Aries is the first step of the cleanup. And by the way, don't think for a second that we're not already in cleanup mode. This destruction has kind of already happened. The tower moments have happened. By the way, Mars is ruled by the tower card. So you have a lot of undoing here. You have a lot of undoing of the dreams, maybe the American dream. But what you're also going to recognize is that as things are going to get put back into place, and later on, even in 2025, when Saturn moves into Aries as well, you're going to see the proponent of saying, you know what, we're going to get this right now. Because Saturn feels somewhat comfortable in the fire sign of Aries, being a natural Capricorn planet. It likes order, it likes direction, it likes to clean up lawlessness. By the way, the Trump administration might actually think this as hey, this is a great time to declare martial law. They might also think that this is a great time to say, hey, what rights do you have? You don't have any rights. Rights are for the elite. And by the way, you can stay in the country if you have $5 million. It's a lot of bastardized perceptions, let's say. But for you and I, what that's going to translate to is to say, this is what we believe in. And I've said this kind of from the beginning with all of this transition. You have to know who you are in order to move forward. Aries is the first house. I am. It is your identifying feature. So you're going to say things with Neptune moving into Aries. I am this dream. I am this person. I can achieve this. Now, let's not forget that the history of Neptune comes from Poseidon. And Poseidon, being the Roman god of water, has the Triton. And the Triton is actually a very spiritual symbol. And whenever you see Poseidon pictured, he's always holding the Triton upwards. Reason being is that it is connected to your spiritual abundance. So this is also a very enlightened time, but it's going to be a very forceful time. We've already seen the stage set for Christian nationalism. We've already seen Christianity kind of take its fold. What you're going to see during this time in Neptune is every single aspect of religious implications are going to be questioned, up to and including the benefit of whatever it is that religion gives to us. It can also be the dissolvement of the illusion. If you follow St. Malachi's predictions, this is kind of the final hour of the Catholic Church as we know it. And because he predicted that the Pope would actually be the last Pope, that doesn't mean that there won't be another Pope after it. This is the last Pope through the tradition of popes. That doesn't mean that the Catholic Church is necessarily going to go away, but as we know it, it will. Maybe there will be things that are revealed to help us understand the basis of Christianity, to understand the influences of, say, Buddhism, as well as Judaism. It is kind of a capped religious perspective, and you can't not understand Judaism if you're going to follow Christianity. Well, what you see in Christian nationalism is that it's replaced the tradition of Judaism and replaced it with the tradition of country, thinking that, oh, well, Abraham Lincoln was Christian, so therefore we're a Christian nation. This ends up being such a fallacy that has to be dealt with, and Neptune moving into Aries is something that's going to rip the Band-Aid right off. They're going to double down on it because it is about belief system. It is about how we project and promote who we are and what we're about, right? The idea that you're going to have to choose a side is coming. Know who you are when you choose it. And again, it's not about right or wrong. It's not about evil or good. That's kind of something that history will explain. But Neptune is giving you an opportunity to say, this is who I am, this is what I believe in. It's also tremendous spiritual awakening. Having the ruling planet of Pisces come into this, the 12th house cometh, so to speak, is moving out of that, where a lot of people, like yourself, you've seen this expansion over the last 15 years of the journey of spirituality. Quite frankly, when Neptune moved into Pisces is when I said, that's it, I'm going to be a full-time medium. So you're going to see people start to transition this, but it'll be a practical transition for a lot of people. And it is them stepping up into this where they're going to say things like, I am God. God is within me. You are going to see that by nature of Neptune being in Aries. You're also going to begin to recognize that on the social structure of things, we're going to start to question every illusion that we see. By the way, remember when I said everything's going to fall apart for Trump? This is one of the symbolism. We need a few more planets to help us out here, but this is going to be a very key thing, and it's also going to help us undo any of the damage that's happened. So when I've taken kind of a tone of like, hey, chill everybody, this is going to be okay, while he's ripping apart rights and sending people out of the country without due process, and then criticizing, free speech while saying, news organizations should be banned, understand that this is kind of like his final hour has kind of already happened. His big push has already existed. They caught lightning in a bottle in astrology, and they've been able to undo and do damage on a lot of different levels. The grown-ups are coming, and astrology is going to help us with this. As Neptune moves through Aries, it is going to take a very practical approach. It is a great reset. Just like we had with the Civil War, you're going to see that we are going to become very principled. Now, will there be conflict? Absolutely. The other planets are going to speak to that. But the compass of Neptune and all of this will be, we need to be practical about how we look at things. We can have an American dream, and guess what? That American dream has to be practical. It can no longer grift so that then the 1% gets rich, and then the middle class is created so we struggle. That was never the intention of the American dream. This is our opportunity to address it in a way that will help us become who we are meant to be, both as individuals and as a people. I'm pretty excited about this challenge, and as you guys know that you like and subscribe and even become a member of the channel, I want to thank you guys for doing this because this helps me decide to do videos like this. I'm sorry I've been a little bit lax from time to time. Life happens, but this is one of those transitional planets that needs to be aware for everybody. Pay attention to the eclipse, pay attention to the angles that Neptune presents, and remember to simply keep going because this is a journey of opportunity for you to become the best version of yourself. I'm going to give you guys a heart tap. Thanks so much for being a part of this. I hope this quick video about everything you need to know about Neptune kind of helps you out. See you soon.